So from Key West, Florida, right now to all of you around the world, I want to thank you, but I also want to thank our guest speaker, the one and only Mr. Byron Nelson. Sir, are you there, Yoda?
Woo-wee. Well, I've been driving through rocks and terrains just to get to be able to get to you guys this morning. I'm really excited more than anything else. And I want to open it up and just really I've been resetting and I actually spent the last week in the mountains. And one of the I guess in the reflection of what I got more than anything else, and I think it's a season for everybody, especially with the national coming up next weekend. Hopefully everybody is registered, but more than anything else, setting goals that you're going to accomplish. You want to write that down. Setting goals that you're going to accomplish. And one of the things that really, I was listening to some meditation and some work as I was driving that really sets everything apart is, and I want you to think about this. We know how to write down goals. We know how to journal. We hear about vision books or vision boards, but how many people have actually written down the date for everything that they're going to accomplish, which is critical more so than anything else. If there's not a date attached to it, it doesn't happen. You know when your birthday is going to happen. You know when rent is due, when mortgage is due, when your car note is due. Do you know when you're due for each of the accomplishments? Because see, true success is an accumulation of small goals amounting to something monumental. And too many people have this: I'm going to hit RD, I'm going to hit RBP, I'm going to hit a $10,000 mark, I'm going to hit 5,000, I'm going to get 100 customer points. But to have it set, I mean, really have a date set and look at that. And that's where accountability does play a part, because a lot of people will write it down. And why accountability is so important is because you have people in which they know when your birthday is, you know when you're expecting gifts, or when you expect a cake, or when somebody's taking you out to dinner. But do you know when you're supposed to have those 10 customer points, or that, even $100, $10, $200? It's like, have you calculated exactly how much you want to earn for that specific goal, and then put a date to it? On the 26th or 25th, if you will, the start of our convention, how many people do you have that you're charting to have registered for that? How many are you doing on a daily basis? But to write down a specific date of accomplishing, not just in the business, but in your life, of the things that you want to accomplish, whether it's, in those small. So we get to the macro, which is, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, I want to buy a house, I want to buy a car, I want to walk off my job. But have you broken it down in many steps is the question. Exactly. They put it down and it's reverse engineering the steps necessary in order to accomplish your greatest goal. And it's one bite. We say it all the time. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So I was actually out rafting yesterday, and it was amazing some of the lessons that were learned while we were on the water, where so many of us are always in a control factor. We always want to control the environment. We want to, and then in turn, we make excuses if things don't happen, but we're always trying to control everything instead of letting things just flow. Have you noticed that you can actually get more done with just going with the flow of things instead of detouring and always doing it your way? Is this making sense? Is anybody understanding this conversation? So in that lives, I think, three things more than anything of the greatest lessons that I've reflected on over the last week. One, the biggest word more than anything else is discipline. It's the discipline it takes in order to get rid of distractions, get rid of the white noise, in order to isolate yourself. I see so many addictions to technology, whether it is social media, whether it is texting, whether it is, whatever it is. It's like we're constantly reaching for, how do you just cut yourself off so that you have complete clarity for where you're going? The second word that screams at me is patience. Patience is linked to long-term vision. because we all want everything right now, right now, right now, right now. Right now should be applied towards your actions, not towards your completion. I'll say that again. Right now should be applicable to your actions. I need to be doing this right now. I need to be doing this right now. I need to be doing this. Not, I need to have this right now. I need to finish this right now. I need to complete. And that goes back into our conversation as a run on from last week, which is it's not a deadline, it's a start line. A person that completes their PhD, their life now starts. A person that completes their MBA, their life now starts. A person completes RVP, RD, or SVP, their life now starts. What is your start date? And the third thing is being able to truly treat people as if it's their last day. I really challenge you guys to do that going into the weekend and over the next 7 days. And it has to be intentional. What if you treated every person that you came across as if it was their last day, not your last day? We talk a lot about if your life ended, what are you leaving as a legacy? What if your life was shortcutted or short-circuited? But what about if you took on a perception, and it's a muscle that has to be developed over a period of time? But I really want you to grasp this. What if you actually served every person? I don't care if it's a person in line at Starbucks. I don't care if it's a person that you see every day, your wife, your husband, your kids. I don't care if it's your friends, your associates, somebody you bumped into on the street. How would you actually treat them if you knew, maybe they didn't know, but you knew that it was their last day on this planet? Would that shift? How much would shift in how you dealt with somebody? Whether they cut you off on the freeway, whether they just happen to be in your space and be sitting within your proximity of reach. What words would shift? What would you say to them that would shift in your conversation of just walking past a person that you knew would not make it through that day? And it will change the landscape and pretty much of your entire attitude of how you go about understanding how to create a reverse engineering of energy that flows to you versus you chasing a specific energy, or you chasing a specific attitude, or you having to deal with things in an angst perspective. It's really amazing how much of a rush. And me and my partner, my family, we were sitting here and we were talking about how God never ran to anything. You have never seen anywhere in scripture or in parables or in any concept where he was running. Oh, I got to run over here to Mount to do the Sermon on the Mount. I got to run over here in order for this woman to be able to actually touch the hem of my garment. Oh, I got to run over here. There was never any running. There was always a listening, a patience, and a discipline. And at the end of that discipline, that patience, there was always completion. On the 6th day, it was complete. By the 7th day, he rested. Hopefully, this is making sense to some other people besides myself. But we get in such a rush to do everything. And one of the things that I shared a couple of weeks back is there's no emergency, there's only urgency behind all that you do. And I'll say that again. There is no emergency. There is just great urgency behind all that you do. It is urgent that we complete specific tasks. It was urgent. And when you look at it, and we were also talking about the wall and Nehemiah and the people that are standing at the wall, and you heard me talk about that as far as just everyone bringing a brick to the wall. But did you know the soldiers that were sitting there that were actually bringing a brick to the wall actually also, in the other hand, had a spear? And in having that spear, what was that for? Because at the same time, they were building something that was mammoth, something that was a vision, something that was of God's calling, that was an anointing, that was something that was appointed. They also had to protect it. And one of the things I would share with each one of you is, as you're on your journey of building your dream, building your position, building your income, building your freedom, How much are you protecting that dream, that vision, and your own mind from where we say it all the time that the devil is a liar? That you let all these other thoughts creep into, or all these other actions, or all these other tasks that are meaning. How much are they actually contributing? It's one of the things I'm very clear about is, understanding a frequency. And you guys have heard me talking about that consistently as far as being on a specific frequency. It's not that people that have these other conversations, that the conversations are menial. It's not that they're insignificant or have no contribution, but do they have a contribution to the higher frequency in which you're operating on? See, there's a season, if you're actually in the football season and you're in the playoffs, you're in the NBA, you're in the playoffs, the only thing that you're looking at is winning that game. The only thing you're talking about is completing the task of winning your life back. And there's different seasons. There's the off season, there's the preseason, there's the season, then there's the playoffs. What season are you operating in your life right now? Are you in the off season? Some of you have been in the off season too long. I don't know if y'all waiting to be traded or to be picked up. But some of y'all been in that off season for a long time. Some of y'all think that the preseason is permanent. It's like, I could casually go through this and I'm going to get there. I just got a lot going on. I'm just going to get in shape. I'm going to get in condition. I'm going to get on some calls. Some of you guys like actually in the season, not understanding that each win positions you in a better position to actually win the championship. And some of you are actually on the court. Sam's on the court. There's a few people that like understand this is time for a championship. I'm ready to win. I need a trophy on my shelf so that I can actually start my life going into 22. And so once we understand and we reflect in that space, then we can start to apply the characteristics that are necessary for us to complete that season. But there is no one season, just like there's no one spring all year round. There's no one summer all year round. There's no one winter all year round. There's no one fall all year round. What season are you operating in? And we are the only animals given the power of choice to choose the season that we choose to be in. So that separates you from everything else as you move forward. Because see, the preseason, the way I look at it is, if you look at an exam, and we've talked about that before, when you're going to get an A on a test because you put in the actions, you put in the preparation, you put in the work, everything has been done. You come out, so how'd you do on the test? Of course I got an A. You're actually surprised if you missed one of the answers on the test. You were so prepped for the test. See, that's the distinction of a person actually generating a 2-figure check, 3-figure check, 4-figure check, 5-figure check, no check. It's based on the work that was put in to take the exam at the end of the week. And it's okay. Everybody's going to get an A at some point. Everybody's going to get an F at some point. But you want to get a consistency. You want to get a flow where you're at least an A-B student consistently throughout your life. Does that make sense? Are you guys with me on that so far? Because that is a habit. Winning is a habit. Losing is a habit. Just dog pedaling through life is a habit. So you got to figure out how well are you prepared for the exam going into the national convention. Now, that's the big exam. That's the final exam in each quarter, if you will, or each season. It's the final exam. And the beautiful thing is, hey, there's still a whole lot of coffee waiting for each one of you for 7 days to go to work and be prepared to get a great grade out of the exam. Now, what distinguishes a person from having an A versus an F, because you guys remember, I don't believe in you being B, C, D in between. It's either an A or an F. Is having double digits of just mastering the art of inviting people. Your job, and write this down, It is not my job to get people in the business. It is not my job. That's the system's job. It's my job to learn how to expose it to the most amount of people that the right people get it. In that lives the patience of just mastering an invite and doing all the right things in between and around that. It's amazing. I went to dinner last night. I went up, I asked for a specific drink. I said, create a drink for me. Then I said, well, what's that on what's the Wi-Fi? Because there's no Wi-Fi up here. And I was in the restaurant. And the young lady said, it's born to fly. Born to fly. I said, born to fly. I said, oh, I know there's a story behind this, which gave me an opening to create a conversation. And in that, she points to two people that are sitting at a table that happen to be the owners. And we're overlooking this creek and rocks and everything. So I go over there and he's laughing. He looks at me. I look at him and put my hand on him. How you doing? I said, amazing. I said, and I put my hand on his shoulder. I said, amazing. He said, oh, I love that answer. He said, I'm amazing too. I said, I know. We're in a season right now. I just touched you. You just been infected. You better be amazing. You have to be, because I just touched you. And I touched him again. He said, oh, I definitely got it now. Before the evening was over, we're outside. We're having the most in-depth conversation about how he's pastoring. Two of my family members are pastoring, how this was a calling. We ended up, before the night was over, having a prayer as a family, all of us, exchanging information. We're having a sidebar conversation. They're having a sidebar conversation. It's just amazing. I don't understand, if you create the reverse engineering of energy to just treat each person as if it may be the last day of their life, just truly being, and write this down, more interested than interesting. How powerful that can be, no matter where you walk, no matter who you speak to, without being in a rush, having great patience, being a disciple and an understudy of your craft, of your business, to know how to intersect and create a collision course with extraordinary people, because you decided as an ordinary person to do something just a little bit extra. That's all an extraordinary person is doing something a little bit extra and being able to infect people with an amazing attitude, mind, and love. The ultimate being love, just because that's what it really is, loving on a person as if it's their last. I challenge you through this weekend to look at your child. God forbid, but if it was their last day, would you still have the same attitude? Your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your associates, your business partners, your mentors, the people you love, instead of being, pressured or thought of, or it's about money, or it's about, I got to do this, or if you just truly just lived in a flow, an energy, a currency of treating each moment, loving on people in a way that is just amazing, you will be amazed at the blessings that would continue to show up. You wouldn't even be surprised at the miracles and the people that would show up in your life to just support and love you without you feeling like you're in cells, or you have to, or it's a burden, or it's a challenge. See, I'm in a stage of my life that I don't want any work. Now, what does that mean? It doesn't mean that I don't see me going out and blessing somebody is not work. Me showing somebody my opportunity is not work. Me figuring out how I can support somebody else. It's an amazing tactic for even the people that's like, people that are already in network marketing. Have you called them and said, how can I support your business? I'm in this transactional period of my life where I want to find people that I can support that will support me. And you actually went out looking specifically, intentionally, on purpose, as we should all be living our life, to identify 10 to 15 people for one consecutive week that are already in the industry. See, most people, like, they shy away from people. Oh, they're already in Metalluca. Oh, they're already in, this. They're already in that. They're already doing this. It's not a matter of cross recruiting. It's not that they're in another company. It's always looking for the opportunity to bless somebody else, and the ebb and flow of what I call exchange. It's the most amazing thing you could ever do, is to live on purpose and live on intention. And really, just, I mean, as I'm driving through this ravine and these rocks, and looking at God's work and looking at the artistry that was created, if you're in a rush, you can't appreciate it. If you're in technology on your phone, you can't appreciate it. If you just to find that ISO space, to appreciate just people for who they are and what they bring to the table, just extraordinary. Here's another great lesson I took away from, just, God forbid, this last 30 minutes. I think I accidentally hit a squirrel, and it really broke my heart. Not sure, but I think I did, because the roads are like so big, and you're like, it's real narrow. If you veer to the right, you're going to fly off the cliff. But in every living thing, what I have found, and it's something that's repeatedly come back into my space. Listen to this. Hesitation brings death. Hesitation brings death. Many of you have been in a position and you're constantly hesitating. You got to stop hesitating. You have to be very concise, very determined, very purposeful, very intentional, knowing exactly where you want to go, how you want to go, when you want to go. That should already be in the plan. Some of you, like, sometimes you see a prospect and you want to talk to them, and you have so many conversations in your head that by the time you actually make the decision, they're in their car driving away. And you know that person would have been amazing. Or they walked out of the store, or they already gone into a specific direction in which you went back to look for them and you couldn't find them. You walked away from a department and you went back to see this person. You could feel their energy. You know they'd be amazing. You know they're extraordinary, but hesitation brings death. You have to be very purposeful in your plan. God had a plan for everything. It was well thought out. It was very intentional. It was purposeful. And there was a completion. I want to keep saying completion because I don't believe many of you understand completing what you're doing. And that's why I went from the macro to the micro, to understand, what are you completing today? What are you completing for this week? What are you completing before the final exam next weekend? What are you completing before this month? And have you written it down with a specific date? That's one of the things that I took away that I am really going to get great at, is writing a date to everything. When you go into the doctor's appointment, what's it called? A doctor's appointment. You don't go into a dentist appointment. You don't go see a cardiologist. You don't go see a gynecologist. You don't go see a doctor without him having a task at hand that he's going to complete. Even if it's just an examination, even if it's just preparation, even if it's just to see what's going on, to bring you back for the next one to complete something. You need to know on purpose, on intention, what you're appointed for in each of those stages. I'm going to talk to this person to be able to prep and see if this person is right for this position with me. I'm going to prep this. I'm going to have a conversation with this person. I have an appointment with this person. What are you, just having appointments to talk to people? No, something has to be complete. When I talk to somebody, they're either going to be a business partner or they're going to be a customer, and or I'm supporting them in what they're doing. And it may be just an examination that they don't need to see me as the podiatrist. They need to go see a cardiologist. Maybe I have nothing I can serve them. Maybe there's nothing in my office that can really do anything for them, but to establish a powerful relationship for when they may need me later and I might need them later. But I'm completing something. And you shouldn't have too many of those type of appointments because they should have been, listen to the word, pre-qualified before you set the appointment. I'm going to say that again. Before you have appointments, the people you have appointments with, because that's one of the greatest ways of being able to actually tell if somebody's on the court. If I came to you right now and we were sitting down one-on-one, you wanted coaching. You're like, I want Miss Nelson to personally coach me. I want Mr. Al Thomas to personally coach. I want Miss Jocelyn Driscoll to personally coach. I want a leader to personally coach. I want Julian to personally coach. I would challenge to say, give me your book. Give me your calendar book. No, I don't want it on your phone. I want what's written down in ink. And could you show me a minimum over the course of this weekend, a minimum of 7 appointments? Could you show me over the next 7 days? See, if you've been in the business past 30, 90 days, really, your appointment book should be booked up for the next 2 weeks. Your appointment book, we're already at the 16th, 17th, 18th of the month. Your appointment book should be booked for the rest of the month. You should be booked. It's only 2 weeks. You should be booked with a few tentatives that you've double booked because you don't know if they're actually going to show up for their own appointment. You should have every slot filled to be able to say, you know what, I really like to sit down with you this month. I'm overbooked. I'm going to see if I can fit you in if somebody cancels. That's when you're running the book. That's when you're in the season of getting a championship. When you're 2 weeks booked out, that's a professional. That's a dentist. That's a doctor. That's an attorney. It's like, I really, really want to see where the person has to plead their case as to why they should see you. When I was going rafting, I was looking, me and my friend, we were looking at where we were going to go rafting. And I went in, and when we called, they said, oh, we're booked up. I said, let's stop by. I stopped by, I go in myself, and I had 3 women working overtime, went and got the 2 guys, and they were trying to fit me in because I said, look, I'm going to have to leave in about 48 hours. I said, I know what the personal touch will do and how my God works. And of course, he worked it out. But I know the power of my influence. If you look at me in my eyes and you sit down in front of me, you're going to create space for me. It's just what God does. How powerful is your influence to either create space for appointments in people's lives? And how much supply and demand have you created for people to fight for your time to see your opportunity? I'm going to say that again because it's so powerful. Some of you guys are out there begging and pleading and hoping somebody, and it's like, I'm kind of on the court, I'm this, that, and the other. Now, this is in and around your life. This is in and around being a parent, a single parent, running your life, putting food on the table. And it's amazing how many people have such short-term vision. They haven't even gotten on the court consistently for 120 days. I tell people when I start with them, give me 90 days of commitment, not 90 days of thought, 90 days of involvement, 90 days of reading, 90 days of maybe 5 or 6 rejections and trying to figure out, oh, it's not this or it's not that, or no, I said, you can't have an emotion attached to anything. Listen to what I'm saying. You can't have an emotion attached to an outcome that you have not committed to for at least 90 to 120 days. You have no idea. You don't even know what a baby looks like. The baby's hardly even looking in your belly when we're talking about giving birth to a child. 9 months in, 4 months, it hasn't even formed. But all of a sudden, you're like, I don't know if I could do this. I'm not sure. Hold on. Maybe I need to just rethink what we just did 4 months ago, getting pregnant. Hold on. Let me have a minute. Could we just think about it for a second? Because this is a little uncomfortable. It's not what I expected. Of course, it's not what you expected. What did you expect? to get pregnant, and through osmosis, the child just pops up and starts running around and feeding itself and tying its own shoes. And that's the blessing. That's the miracle you're looking for. That the money just pops into your account. Everybody says yes. Everybody wants to be on your team just because you just remarkable. Come on now. Don't get me preaching up in here. Write it down. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. The way you do anything, you might want to start changing some of the things you're doing. I was going down the raft and kid was just sitting there spraying water. The guy had the water gun, so I'm hitting a rock and the water came, and the parents said, "Watch out now, they're gonna get you." I said, "You gotta stop that. I just got my hair done." The man looked at me, he actually looked twice like, he ain't got no hair. There you go, Sam. My point of the matter is, you got to learn how to enjoy the entire journey of life. You don't know when it's going to cease for anybody, for any one of us. Life is being given and life is being taken. What are you going to do with that dash? How are you going to make that work for you? We have 7 days before, and here's what I really realized. Here's what I really got out of this reflection time. If you don't go back and learn how to bring that child in you out, you need to go find the child within that had no ambitions, that wasn't told all those lies, that didn't experience all those heartbreaks, that didn't experience all that stress. Children, infants, that they have no, they're just curious. They're just enjoying life. There's no fears. There's no reference point of pain or what I'm good at and what I'm not good at, or I don't have confidence or I do have confidence. Until you can bring that child within out. Mr. Al Thomas, I mean, he does it. Mr. Al Randolph does it when he puts the hat to the side. Well, you guys don't get that hat is part of his child. That's part of his child. That hat tilted to the side has nothing to do with looking cool. It's the child in him. He's not looking for validation. He's not looking for applause. He's not looking for, it makes him feel good. Him sharing. And we were talking about this, I believe a few of you were asking me last week, how to become fully expressed. Find that child in you, you'll find the full expression. You find that child, you'll no longer care about what other people think, what they feel, if they like you, if they don't like you, if somebody, 7 days. Go out there with no fear. Go out, put dates, timetables to micro tasks that will become macro within 7 days. Play the game of life for 7 days. Let's not even look at 30 days, 120 days. Learn how to have fun and laugh at people instead of worrying about what people are saying about you. Just laugh. I don't think this thing will work. Yeah, you probably right. This thing won't work. I promise you it's not going to work for you. I guarantee it won't work for you. You know what? I think this thing will work. You too? You too? You think it'll work too? I know it's going to work for us. If you have already made up your mind and just learned to laugh at everything, I think it's a pyramid. Me too. I think it's the biggest pyramid on the planet. You should see how many dollar bills I'm trying to put in my pocket and in my sock, in my mattress, in my fireplace. Boy, you got it. You too. I tell you, just like every mountain, I'm trying to climb this pyramid, boy. You've been to Egypt too. I mean, I don't want. I don't think that you can save me any money. I don't think so either. But would you pay an extra 5 cents, 10 cents to support me? Just learn how to laugh, boy, and have fun on the journey. Somebody calls you and says, "I quit." I knew you were. You quit. I didn't even know you started. I, I didn't know you were already. You actually worked the business. You actually started something to quit. What did you do? You signed yourself up. That's funny. That's funny. It's like going to the gym and saying, "I quit" before you even went to the gym, but you paid for the membership. I just need to thank you, so I ain't got to put no more effort towards you. I was already looking to replace you. Just have a good time. Just boy, learn how to laugh. Find the child in you and have some fun. Well, that's my time for this Friday. I'm gonna come on the leadership tomorrow night. I'm gonna have Yoda with me, Mr. Al Thomas, and we're gonna be laughing together. We're gonna have some fun. I'm just gonna enjoy the rest of this day because I earned it.